What up? What up? What up? Welcome to the scorecard, where I ask you to bring your scorecard and an explanation and not just simply your opinion. So yes, last night we had we don't even have to call it whatever random belt it was, between Tony Harrison and Tim Tszyu in Australia. A tough one, a tough one. Final score: the fight ended in the seventh round. Was it the seventh round? The ninth round, with a stoppage by Tony Harrison. The judges had it scored 75-77, 75-77, and my exact score was 77 for Tim Tszyu. Same as the judges. My man Tony Harrison, much love, much respect to him. Best jabs in boxing. And that was his main, but it wasn't enough to get him past Tim Tszyu's walk him down game. More detail in that in a second, but Tony Harrison, first, if you don't know, from the super bad gym over in 5 minutes away from our gym and over in Detroit, Michigan. Came in with a record of 29 wins, 29 wins with 21 4 losses. His biggest was against Jermell Charlo back in 2018. Won a decision against him match, and had a couple of good wins since then. But yeah, man, Tim Tszyu, this guy really not surprised me, but I was not as well as he did. I'm not gonna lie. Just for the simple fact that most of his fights were in Australia, and much love and much respect to his father, who is one of the not just a great boxer from Australia, but one of the best boxers of all time. During the late '80s or late '90s, Tszyu came in with a record of 22 wins, 16. His son came in with a record of 22 wins with 16 knockouts, 0. No big wins on his career. I apologize. Terrell Gausha, the last fight, he got dropped in the first round, got up and won every round after that. Again, his walk him down style. What I mean is, he's not really getting toes, doing anything flashy. You could definitely see how he's mastered the fundamentals, hands up, and just knows the perfect distance to lean back to get you miss, and his timing for counterpunching, coming back right away. Walk a person down like that, your counterpunching skills have to be on point. And at the Tony Harrison, that was one of the main things that he said about Tim Tszyu, was this counterpunching was perfect. Now to go through the rounds. Round one, by score, I'll go each round. Round one, I gave to Tony Harrison. First 2 rounds, only 8 rounds, so I gave the first 2 and round 7 to Tony. Harrison's jab has Tony Harrison has a very educated. I mean, is he doesn't just simply. It's not just simply about extending your arm out, your foot in the fundamental stance of, even if you can throw a perfect jab, having an educated how and what speed to throw it at. Not always the same speed. Sometimes a hard one to make your opponent's head snap back. Sometimes it gets to be a little pop, 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 pop. So yeah, Tony Harrison has one of the best educated jabs in boxing, and clearly won in that first round. Tim Tszyu was closing in the pressure, but in that first round, Tony was able to keep him off. Round, same thing. I gave it to Tony Harrison. Jabs all day. My notes for round 2 was because even though Tszyu was still coming forward, which sometimes you can turn into a hook if you land the jab enough, then you could disguise it. So yeah, second round to Tony Harrison. I gave to Tszyu. The third round specifically, Tszyu landed bigger. This is when he started to slowly close in on the distance, and then the time for pressure fighters like that. That's like I said, man. That's very good. By the third round, usually it takes guys a couple of rounds to warm up. Like usually maybe by the fifth or sixth round. Right from the third round, that he can tell Harrison's time. And he must have caught. I'm assuming that he must have caught Harrison with something early because because Harrison a lot of right hands, and what I wish he did more from instead of going from rope to rope to maybe do a sharper turn to get back to the center of, because when you get back to the center of the ring, then you have more different ways you can move. You can move back an angle. You have more ways to get out. You have more escape routes. Boxing against the ropes, it's easier for your opponent to keep you there because all they have to do is go side to round 4. Tszyu. My notes for round 4 was aggressively going from rope to rope. Has to do more than just jab. I explained in the first 2 rounds how his jab was on point, but yeah, to keep a pressure fighter off you like that has to be more than the jab. If that's the only punch that your opponent has to worry about, even no matter how good it is, piece of fire that they have to worry about, they can eventually, if they're a good fighter like Tszyu is, it took him by the third, fourth to time that jab and know how to counter punch it, like in this picture right here. Gave to Tszyu. My notes specific was Tony not doing much but jabs. Like I said, his jab was on point, but it has to be more than that, and not just going from rope to rope. His right hand. No, I'm not making up no excuses for him. He should have threw more right hands. Tszyu earn his respect to not be able to just walk him down like that. Just again, when you just go from rope to rope, it's easy for someone to just cut you off. No matter how big the ring is. Yeah, did I give? Yeah, I did. Round 5, I gave to Tszyu. Round 6 is the Harrison, but that I marked that as a close round. Yeah, round 2 marked as close rounds. Round 2, and like I said, definition of a close round, it went either way. So round 2 and round 6, which I'm talking about right now. My notes for round 6. Tony again. And the jab is not really keeping Tszyu off him. He's not really keeping his opponent. Round 7 and round 8 gave to Tim. His walk him down game is very serious. Not just simply cutting off the ring. As soon as he cuts you off, he knows exactly that, like he's waiting for whatever can not barely move out the way. He moves out the way, makes you, and his timing for his counter punching. Again, it's one thing to make somebody miss, but it's another thing for you to have the reflexes to come back right away. So yeah, man, this kid Tszyu, I say kid, he's 28 years old, so he's right in his prime. So that's why his next big fight, Jermell Charlo. Yeah, it is Jermell Charlo, the one that won disputed 154 champion. Yeah, put some respect. Go into the rankings right now. Super welterweight division, 154 pounds. Tszyu, was he even ranked? This guy wasn't even ranked in any of the major sanctioning belts, in the four major belts, the WBCW or WBO. Look at middleweight. No, he's not even up at middleweight either. He's gonna go from not even being. Oh, there he is in the WB. Which one is this? WBO. He was ranked as the number one guy, but not in the other ones. He's gonna get to fight Jermell Charlo for the championship. That is going to be very interesting. I can't wait for that fight. That was going to happen. Obviously, they both have and Tony Harrison, Jermell Charlo. All of his rematches knocks his opponents out, and he always looks better than his. And yeah, man, Jermell Charlo versus Tszyu. I wonder when that's gonna happen, but it should be a serious one. What else do we have at the super welterweight division? I lost my spot. Yeah. Jaime Munguia, this guy, he's another one. He's another pressure fighter. Yeah. Jaime Munguia versus Tszyu might be very but I'm not sure who else would take that fight. We got Iris, who got the belt because Golovkin gave it up. Joe Martinez. No, I'm not even paying attention to that. Dervyevchenko. All right, not much going on at the middleweight. Let's look where I was supposed to be looking. Super middleweight. We got Liam Smith. We got Tony Harrison, who's probably going to move down. But yes, same thing. There's not much going on. Danny Garcia make his comeback very soon. We'll see how he looks after Fundora. This guy Sebastian Fundora, man, he is very interested to watch his career develop because of how his style. This guy is 6'5", but likes to fight more on the inside. Picture right here. This was a perfect example of how Tony's jab was at full extension and using it properly in the early rounds. He was using it properly late because that was the only thing that Tszyu had to worry about. He was able to time it. I was talking about Fundora being 6'5". These guys are a problem. Versus that, it'll be something. But these guys have to get some belts and first before they get their names out there. Josh Kelly lost a while ago, but he has the skills to work his way back up. He's ranked in number 7 and number 5 in two of the rankings. Danny Garcia at 154 now. That's a name. How about Tszyu versus Danny Garcia? That fight. That would be very interesting. Danny Garcia versus or one of these guys, Sebastian Fundora. Oh, he does have a WBC belt, unless he is no. Because Jermell, might talk about Jermell Charlo is undisputed. Fundora must be next in line. Yeah, man. When you got the belts, you got the wolves coming for you. So he has to worry about Sebastian Fundora. He has to worry about. I believe Danny Garcia still see his last. He lost to his last big loss was to Earl Spence. That was the last fight that I know, last big fight I remember him having. He didn't get beat up, but he just out jabbed him. So we'll see what Danny 4 pounds. Other than that, not much else going on at one. No, not much going on now. It's at 154. What's going on? Anybody in the chat? No. What's going on? Everybody's lazy, man. Come on. Yeah, that is it. That is it. Yeah, not much else. Not much else. Super welterweight division. My defensive, and then we'll talk about the defensive tip of the week. Fighter doing what they do and coming after you like that and walk. Specific one offensive thing, one defensive thing. Thing has to do with defense. You have to have a very good jab, and of course, having a good jab will blind them for that second, and they won't even see that right hand. And then after you have to do a sharp turn, not just simply move, sharper turn to get back to the center of the ring. Easiest way to do that is whatever hand you throw, combination you throw, whatever you decide to throw, whatever hand you finish with, and make a sharper turn to get back to the center. When you get back to the center, then you could do some fakes just to at least slow down your opponent from coming forward, slow them down, and then go from there, and then get back to work. For the week, defensive move of the week. But at the same time, sometimes you try to implement your game time. Actually, to the post-fight press conference, I always do my best to listen to the post-fight press conferences. The fighters will tell you, the real what really happened, like and it's also the place where they'll come up with excuses too. Sin as a real guy, much respect to him. He said his brother came up with a great game plan, and he was following it, but he went off the game plan. His own fault. That's what Tony. So he admitted it that he was his own fault. So because a lot of people make up excuses. And then things didn't go right leading up to the fight. He didn't make up any excuses out of it. He took the loss, took responsibility for not listening to his coach. But yeah, much respect for that. Yeah, and there we have it. Scorecard. Even though this fight didn't finish in the scorecard, we still gave you the scorecard and an shout out to Talkin Fight, the #1 boxing channel on YouTube. And to Cedric Sports Training. Check me out on any social media. Sure you check out this show live Sundays, most Sundays at 9:30. Shout outs, real quick. I got to give a shout out to yesterday and today. I had a level 1 boxing course for Boxing Ontario. New coaches. So shout out to those 10 new coaches that got certified. Spent their 2 days, getting some boxing education. Yeah. All right. If you haven't done yet, make sure you come on, press that like button, share, subscribe, and all right, man. At Cedric Sports. I'll be back next week.